Ms. Herting Ru.
Question 9, please.
Mr. Speaker, sir, if I may take questions 9 and 10 together.
Yes, please.
The safety of children in our preschools is of utmost importance. The Early Childhood Development Agency, ECDA, has regulations that require preschools to put in place measures to protect children and staff from security threats. All preschools are required to keep their premises secured to prevent any unauthorized personnel from entering the center. Most preschools use electronic locks at the entrance, and visitors are only allowed entry after checks. Every preschool must have procedures in place to check and record the entry and exit of all persons. All preschools are also required to establish standard operating procedures, SOPs, to handle safety-related incidents, injuries, and emergency evacuation during a crisis. Emergency evacuation exercises for all children and staff in preschools must be conducted every 6 months. Such exercises ensure staff and children are familiar with the processes and are able to respond quickly during a crisis like fire, terrorist attack, or bomb threat. It also enables preschools to validate and strengthen their SOPs. ECDA's licensing officers conduct regular licensing and supervisory visits to ensure preschools comply with our regulatory measures to keep their children safe and secure. ECDA also reviews regularly the regulatory requirements for preschools and will update them as necessary. ECDA collaborates with the Singapore Police Force to organize counter-terrorism seminars for preschools under SG Secure. Preschools are also advised to adopt SG Secure advisories such as Run, Hide, Tell, and Press, Tie, Tell, which MHA shares with the public and organizations to build vigilance and preparedness against terrorism. Despite the best efforts by ECDA and our preschools to ensure the safety of children and staff, untoward incidents may still occur. So apart from preventive measures, preschools, parents, and the wider community must stay vigilant and prepared to handle such incidents should they occur. More fundamentally, it is important to continue to ensure that our society is safe. For example, by having strict controls over gun ownership and maintaining our zero-tolerance stance towards illicit drugs. Otherwise, it would not just be security in preschools that we have to worry about, but the security for the whole of society. Thank you.
Mr. Jerogam.
Mr. Speaker, can I extend my deepest condolences to the families of the victims of the tragic shootings in Thailand, which involved children in preschool centers. In Singapore, during preschool dismissal times, it is common for a large number of caregivers to be fetching their children at the same time, and it's difficult for teachers to identify each and every caregiver. And they are likely to use their own subjective judgment to decide whether to open the door to the center and release the child to the caregiver. Can I ask the MOS, are all preschools required by regulation to have their doors locked at all times and unlocked only for authorized persons whose identity is authenticated by the center staff, and are they required to maintain a list of pre-designated caregivers who are allowed to fetch the children? If these are not spelled out for the preschool centers, could ECDA assess if these enhanced security measures are necessary to ensure the safety of our very young children? Thank you.
I thank the member for his supplementary question. As I had mentioned earlier in my main reply, most preschools use electronic locks at the entrance, and visitors as well as people leaving the center, they are only allowed to do so when there is a proper check and balance of who these persons are. Though you have mentioned that there are large numbers of people gathered potentially at dismissal time, actually not all the children go and leave the preschool at the same time. We have seen staggered dismissal timings as well. So I'm quite sure that the member, myself included, we have been to these preschools when it's dismissal time. And we have seen that actually the teacher allows the students to go only after the teacher takes a look at who is the caregiver who is there to pick up the child. Most schools also would take note of who the caregiver is who picks up the child. And there are also instances where if the caregiver is not someone that the school recognizes, that the school actually checks in with the family. Thank you.